What's up, Permian Basin? Welcome back to another episode of Workforce Table Talk, where we keep the Permian Basin in the know. My name is Valerie.
My name is Diana.
And today we have Alejandra Ramirez. She's the Prevention Education Director for the Crisis Center of West Texas. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, ma'am. So April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So we're going to talk to Alejandra today to learn more about that. So Alejandra, can you tell us what is considered sexual assault?
Yeah, so sexual assault is any sexual behavior or action that's unwanted or where consent is not given freely. It is a topic that we focus on a lot with especially our teens in the prevention department, because I feel like a lot of the time sexual assault can be maybe like consent is confused. They understand what consent is, when it can be given and when it can be given. So it's just any sexual behavior or action that's unwanted when consent is not given freely. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what would you like the community to know during Sexual Assault Awareness Month?
Yeah, so it is I guess you would say the beginning of April. So it really we've been having a couple events. Last week we had one we partnered with Homemade Wines at First Friday, really just to be looking out for any way you can be involved with like awareness events. We're going to be having a couple of events in Pecos. We're going to be doing a couple of events with Odessa College as well. So really just being participating in these events, it's a great opportunity for you to learn things, to be able to support and really just help spread awareness. A lot of the times I feel like we're just so busy with our lives, with work, with other stuff, and really just learning, if you know someone who's experiencing either domestic or sexual violence, how can you support them, what services are available, and how you can refer them to that. So really just an education opportunity. So
Perfect.
That's great. So can you tell us what services or resources the Crisis Center provides to the community?
Yeah, so some of the services that we offer, all our services are free. So everything from our shelter to counseling services, our prevention events, they're all free and they're all confidential. So we provide counseling services. So if we have clients that are needing counseling services, we do provide direct counseling services. We provide case management as well. And then we have a shelter, a 24/7 hotline, legal services as well for family cases. And then my favorite department, which is prevention. It's my department. So yes, and then a lot of the times people, I feel like they don't really get confused. They think, you have to be staying in shelter to be getting counseling services, to be getting case management and legal services. And that's not true. We do have both residential and non-residential. So if someone, say they do have a safe place to stay, but they're still interested in counseling services, they can still be getting counseling, case management, or legal. So
Awesome.
yes, and like I said, all our services are free. We do have both like English and Spanish speaking case managers as well. So we do have a variety of services available. So
That's great.
yeah.
Yes. So that opens up for the next question, which is who is eligible for these services?
Yeah, so we provide services to both men and women. I know a lot of time when we talk about or we think about domestic and sexual violence, we think, most it's more common for it to be a female victim and a male abuser, but that's not always the case. There are cases where it is a male victim and female abuser. So all our services are open to both men and women. We only provide services to adults, so anyone over the age of 18, and they don't have to be experiencing violence right now, like yesterday, today, within the past week, past month. It could have been maybe a couple years ago, and now they're just now ready to be getting counseling services or case management, because a lot of the time, it takes time for people to, say, okay, I'm ready to seek help, I'm ready to get counseling services. So really just any adult, men and women, we provide services. Our shelter too is both available to men and women. Something that's really cool about our shelter is that we do accept pets.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
so in the past, sometimes if you think I just got a pet, so if you think, people were having to stay in an abusive home, an abusive situation because they couldn't leave, they didn't want to leave their pet behind. So our shelter does have some rooms that have like doggy doors, and we do accept certain breeds and stuff. So Our shelter is pretty new too, so I believe it opened in 2019. We're about to hit our 5-year anniversary with our shelter, so it is pretty new. We do have beds. We do have a lot of rooms and beds available. So yes.
Well, those are wonderful services. What does that process look like? So if somebody is wanting to seek out those services,
Yes.
what does it look like?
Good question. So, like I said, one of the services we do offer is a 24/7 hotline. So, our hotline is open 24 hours, 7 days a week. And then our phone number is 432-333-2527. And what I tell people is it's not like you're going to get an operator, like press 1, press 2. It is an actual person talking, and you have to do like what's called a hotline call. They just ask a couple questions, see if you are eligible for services. They determine, are you going to need shelter? Do you have a safe place to stay? And from there is when the process kind of continues. If they're going to be going into shelter and we can't accept them if we have capacity, they would come in. If it's like non-residential, then a case manager would then follow up with them. So yes, they would just have to call our hotline. So, or even if they have questions, they can also call the hotline. Something really important about the hotline is it does have to be the victim themselves calling. It can't be like, oh, hey, I'm calling for my friend. Can you call her? Can you call them?
Yeah.
It does have to be because they do have to ask questions and stuff. So yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes.
And just as a reminder, you did mention all of these services are at no cost to them.
Yes,
correct?
all of them are free. So, like I normally when I tell people, counseling services, it's not like we like bill insurance or anything like that. Shelter is free. The case management, the legal, all the services are free. So
Perfect.
Great.
Yes.
Great. That's awesome.
Yes.
So, can you tell us what you do as a prevention education director?
Yeah, definitely. So, prevention. Our job is really to go out into the communities and educate and teach. Teach our community about sexual violence, about how to recognize. Right now, we have a program that we're really trying to get a lot of businesses and agencies involved. It's called the Certified Partner Program, and we do it's a 3 hours presentation, recognizing, responding, and referring to domestic and sexual violence. And this is just an opportunity for like businesses and agencies. Sometimes if like in a business you have clients coming in, patients coming in, and if they are experiencing domestic violence or sexual violence, like how can you help them? Because really like this affects just like not just the victim and their family, but it just affects the community as a whole when we have high rates of domestic and sexual violence. So these programs is an opportunity to like train staff members, train pretty much anyone to really recognize and I guess you could say be like community advocates for this. And so aside from doing that, we do a lot of awareness events in the community. Last week we had Art Against Assault. We did an art exhibit where we had multiple artists in the community come and they submitted art pieces that they talked about consent. We have really artistic people in this community.
Yeah.
We had over 30 art submissions, which was amazing. And so we do events like that. We're not just here in Odessa. Like I said, we're going to be having an event in Pecos later this month. So really, we're just trying to do events for the community. We also go to schools. So we do middle schools and high schools, and we teach students about teen dating violence and stuff like that, healthy and unhealthy relationships. So,
Awesome.
yes, we do a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So
Yes.
when you do that, the training
Yes.
for the businesses and agencies, that's for people who are probably dealing with victims of domestic violence or
Yes.
sexual assault or things like that.
Yes, and we've done this on like all types of businesses. We've done it at restaurants. We've done it with our college campuses, so UTPB, Odessa College. We've done it also recently. We did it at an apartment complex, which I feel like you don't really think about. But I feel like it's important because it's like if someone's gonna go get an apartment, start a lease, and early signs of domestic violence come up, and being able to recognize that. We've also done it at urgent cares. So we're just kind of, gyms as well. We're just all over the place and really trying to spread the word. We give out brochures. So aside from the training, we give out brochures and tear-offs for a lot of times agencies will put them in bathrooms. So you can pull the, so if you have someone that goes in, they use a restroom, they can pull the hotline number off. And it's just a small piece of paper they can put in their pocket for when they do need it. So,
Awesome.
yes.
And you mentioned an opportunity to become a certified partner.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what that would entail?
Yeah, so what that is becoming a certified partner of Crisis Center West Texas. And as I mentioned, really addressing like domestic and sexual violence in the community. I feel like it's just a community approach as a whole. You know, it's kind of like all hands on deck type of situation. So what this is we're going in, we schedule a date. I normally tell people, you know, if you have like a staff meeting or when you're onboarding maybe a group of people and you want to like during their hire process and do this training, it's for them to be trained. We talk about the early signs of domestic violence. So, you know, when we're talking about domestic and sexual violence, it's not just physical violence. There's emotional, gaslighting, isolation, intimidation. We talk about tactics of abuse, and then the cycles of violence as well. So being able, you know, if you're working with someone who is in an abusive relationship, being able to understand, okay, like sometimes, you know, why are they staying in this relationship? Why are they staying in this abusive relationship if they're experiencing abuse? So understanding the cycle of violence, and then how to refer someone, you know, because if you are working with someone who is experiencing domestic or sexual violence, it's really important how you approach them, you know, can really kind of take an effect on whether they do reach out for help or not. So that's what we kind of train on as well. And then, like I said, we take brochures that businesses or agencies can put like in their waiting areas, and then the tear-offs that they use in the restroom.
Okay.
So
and they get some kind of certification or not
like a little plaque.
Yes,
Yes.
or something like that, and then like a door
Yes.
emblem or something like
They
that.
do, yeah. So we give out kind of a sticker for them to put on their windows or doors, and this is for them to just kind of be recognized as a certified partner of Crisis Center. So, yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So who and what areas does the Crisis Center cover?
So we cover, we're primarily located here in Odessa, but we do cover, like my team, we're out in Pecos. We go out to the schools in Pecos. We did a health fair out there this weekend. So we're out in Pecos, Monahans. We do some work also in Crane. So just communities around Odessa. And when I'm out in those communities, I like to tell people, you know, just because you're not in Odessa does not mean you qualify for services. If there's someone in Pecos or Monahans or Crane and they're interested in counseling services, they are eligible. The only thing, even here in Odessa, like we can never go pick someone up.
Mhm.
So if they're in need of shelter, then they can make their way here to Odessa and go from there. But we do cover a lot of counties around us.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of people don't really know that. You know, we're located primarily in Odessa. Our main office is here, but we do cover a couple of surrounding counties in the Permian Basin. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
And if they have questions, they can just call.
Yes. Hotline 24/7.
Yes. Okay. So I know you mentioned the phone number earlier.
Yes.
So how can the community get in contact with the Crisis Center if they are in need of assistance?
Yeah, so our hotline, like I said, open 24/7. So it's 432-333-2527. If you are even if you have general questions like regarding like a prevention department or anything else, you can always call the hotline and they can send a message to me or my team. So.
Okay. And then where are you guys located?
So our admin office is located off on Grant, at 910B South Grant. That is where our admin office is located.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the shelter? Or is that something that y'all...
Yes, that one we don't share that address.
Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
So that's another way for them to feel safe.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. It's like kind of for like confidentiality reasons.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then what about your website?
Yeah, so our website, crisiscenter.org, we have that. We also have our Instagram page. We're really active on Instagram.
Okay.
So Crisis Center WTX is our Instagram. We post events on there. We'll post awareness stuff on there. So we're really active on there. So
Okay.
yeah.
Great. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
of course. Thank you.
So do you have any announcements that you would like to share or upcoming events?
Yeah, so we have, like I said, Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We've got a couple events towards the end of the month. We're doing some events with Odessa College. We are also, for anyone in Pecos, we are having a paint and sip event at La Tejana towards, I believe it's April 27th. And then we are also preparing for our Wonder Girls Camp this year. It is our 8th annual. We're really excited. So we do a camp every summer, and it is a camp for... it's an all-girls camp for girls from entering 5th through 8th grade. It is a 4-day long camp where they go, and it's really this camp to empower girls. We do STEM activities. We teach them lessons from the Crisis Center, and really just empower these girls. So we're anticipating to launch our applications later this month. We take volunteers, campers, sponsors.
Yeah.
So we're in need of it all, but we're really excited for camp this year.
That is really cool.
Yes.
And then as we wrap up,
Yes.
are there any statistics that you'd like to share with the community?
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of the time, like I was saying earlier, when you support someone who's experiencing domestic or sexual violence, we don't really recognize how often it happens in our community. But last year, we had a total of 734 clients that we were serving, and our shelter had 469. So that was year round, and I was talking with our staff yesterday, and I think that's been the highest number we've ever served, which is good. Like, I kind of say it's like mixed emotions. Like, it's a good thing that we're able to provide these services, but at the same time, we're having to provide these services because it's happening in our community, because someone's experiencing some type of violence. So that is some numbers to keep in mind. And like I said, if you have the opportunity to refer someone to the Crisis Center, to spread awareness, to do the Certified Partner Program at your agency or your business, I do encourage for everyone to do so.
Great. Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being here. This is very helpful to the community, and hopefully this brings awareness to
Thank you.
the surrounding areas.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Exciting.
I think it's great because somebody may be unsure of
Yes.
what steps they need to take, what they can do if they find themselves in that kind of situation. So I think you've done a really good job of sharing all of
Thank
the
you.
information that the Crisis Center offers, and we really thank you for sharing that information.
Thank you.
So we want to remind you all to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We're always posting helpful information, events, job fairs, hiring events, workshops. We have different information and videos that are posted on there. So follow us so you can get that information and be aware of what's going on. Again, we want to thank Alejandra for being here today and educating us on sexual assault awareness and all the services provided by the Crisis Center of West Texas. So thank you all for tuning in. And if you didn't know before, now you know.